Martha's sunflower seedlings were dying again.
56. She swore off gardening after last summer's tomato feud, but now a trembling hand clutched hers near community plots.
"You gotta help," whispered a voice thick with desperation. "Only your vibes make things grow right."
Martha eyed cracked earth where her neighbor's zucchinis withered, then seed swap flyer flapping on bulletin board like a white flag.
Seattle drizzle misted her glasses.
Courage wasn't planting perfect rows, it was digging into messy soil together.
Martha's sunflower seedlings were dying again.
56. She swore under her breath, fingers brushing brittle stems like failed promises. That morning's mist clung to her cardigan as she eyed community gardens' thriving plots, each one a silent accusation. Her neighbor's marigolds smirked in tidy rows. For years, she'd blamed Seattle's drizzle, bad soil, cosmic vibes, anything but truth. Failure here felt like her mother's voice, long gone but still sharp. "Roots need tending, girl." Back then, sunflowers meant Kansas summers, her small hands tucked into her mother's apron pockets, seeds spilling like gold.
Now, wilted dreams in a plastic tray. But defiance flickered. If dirt wouldn't cooperate, maybe people would.
That afternoon, Martha lugged a folding table to garden's chain-link fence, slapped a hand-painted seed swap sign on it, and dumped her leftover packets, zinnias, basil, one stubborn sunflower, onto chipped surface.
Hesitant, she stepped back.
By sunset, 3 neighbors had left heirloom tomatoes, a wrinkled zucchini, and a joke about her botanical rebellion. A week later, table groaned under seed envelopes and scribbled tips.
Someone brought coffee. Someone else brought a folding chair so Martha's knees wouldn't protest.
Sunflowers, she learned, needed room to stretch.
So did she. Martha's sunflower seedlings were dying again.
56. She swore under her breath, wiping dirt-streaked hands on her overalls.
Seattle's drizzle had turned her backyard into a swamp, but those drooping sprouts? That was personal.
She'd promised herself this year would be different, no more wilted dreams, no more half-hearted attempts.
Yet here she stood, staring another failure.
A gust sent her sun hat sailing into Mrs. Chen's yard next door.
She groaned.
Retrieving it meant facing woman whose prize-winning dahlias mocked her own sad patch of earth. But as she crouched to grab hat, something caught her eye, a handwritten sign peeking from beneath a rain-spattered tarp.
"Seed swap Saturday, bring your extras." Curiosity overpowered pride.
That afternoon, Creator found herself in a buzzing community garden, clutching a paper bag of her least crushed seeds. Vibe was warm, chaotic, folks trading stories with zucchini starts like old friends. Then she spotted him, a grizzled man in a Kiss My Compost cap, demonstrating how to revive drowned seedlings with a mix of coffee grounds and stubborn hope. "Roots need air as much as water," he said, catching her stare.
"Just like people." Something clicked. Creator began showing up weekly, absorbing tricks, eggshell mulch, whispered encouragement to plants. It worked, somehow.
She even traded her last decent tomato seeds for a handful of sunflower varieties, their names like promises: Evening Sun, Lemon Queen. Back home, she rigged a makeshift greenhouse from old shower curtains.
When Mrs. Chin peered over fence, she braced for a dig about plastic sheet eyesore. Instead, her neighbor nodded seedlings. "Sunflowers," she said. "Good for bees." 2 months later, Martha's first golden blooms towered over fence, their faces tilted toward light.
She saved every seed, labeling them carefully, not just for next year's garden, but for swap.
Turns out, nurturing something fragile could bridge more than soil.
That fall, she taught a teen how to save seeds from his grandmother's heirloom beans. Boy's grin was brighter than any sunflower.
Martha still lost a plant now and then. But these days, she knew secret: growth wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, getting dirt under your nails, and sometimes, letting wind carry your hat exactly where you needed to go. Martha's sunflower seedlings were dying again. 56. She swore under her breath, fingers brushing brittle stems. Seattle's drizzle hadn't been enough.
Neither had her stubborn push to water them solo. This time, though, she didn't toss tray. Instead, she hauled it to community garden plot next door, where Mrs. Cattry's eggplants thrived like they'd never heard of Pacific Northwest gloom.
Curiosity won over pride. Creator watched how Mrs. Khatri layered compost, how she whispered to seedlings in Gujarati. No magic, just care. A week later, she left a note beside eggplants. Swap you sunflower starts for gardening tips? What began as a salvage operation turned into a seed swap initiative. Neighbors trickled in, retired teachers, young moms, a bassist who grew ghost peppers. Martha's sunflowers became vibe, towering over fences, their faces following sun like nosy aunties a block party. She'd worried age made her roots too set, but dirt under her nails proved otherwise. One evening, she found a zucchini on her porch with a scribble, "Your sunflowers made me smile." Single dad, app 3B. Martha grinned. Maybe common ground wasn't about perfect blooms, but showing up, seeds in hand, ready to grow something wild together. Martha's sunflower seedlings were dying again. 56, she swore under her breath, but this time, dirt under her nails felt like defiance. Those spindly stems weren't just plants, they were peace offerings. 4 months, bickering over shared garden plots had turned her Seattle block into a turf war, roses versus radishes, begonias versus bitter glares. But sunflowers? Nobody hated sunflowers. So she hatched a plan with sly humor and zero patience for nonsense. Instead of hiding her struggling sprouts, she hauled them right onto community bulletin board, wilted leaves and all, with a sign, "Free to a good home." Or a bad one. Just take M. Below, she pinned envelopes of seeds labeled "Seed Swap, grow something bigger than your grudge." First, folks just side-eyed her display. Old Mr. Jenkins, notorious for griping about invasive species, scoffed loud enough to scare off sparrows. But woman kept replenishing those envelopes, adding quirky notes, water daily, complain weekly, until curiosity outweighed contempt. One morning, she caught him pocketing a handful of sunflower seeds, muttering about giving him a fair shot. Then came Twist, a local photographer, snapping shots of garden for a citywide exhibit, zeroed in on Martha's swapboard, vibrant seeds spilling from wrinkled envelopes, sunflowers now thriving in mismatched pots across block. Image went viral with caption "Seattle's dirt diplomacy." Suddenly, her cluttered bulletin board was a shrine to common ground. Exhibit opening, creator stood back as neighbors pointed their own sunflower contributions, laughing over who'd grown tallest. Even Jenkins, now cradling a bloom like a newborn, shot her a grudging nod. A hush fell when photographer revealed a close-up of Martha's hands, scuffed knuckles, a silver ring glinting, planting those very first seedlings. Life's worth capturing, she'd told him, and crowd roared like she'd won gold. Turns out, all it took was one gutsy move, a few envelopes, and audacity to believe even stubborn hearts could soften under same sun. Martha grinned, wiping soil on her jeans. 56 never looked so fierce. Martha's sunflower seedlings were dying again. 56 and stubborn as Seattle drizzle, she refused to let another summer pass without blooms bright enough to shame her neighbor's pristine petunias. This time, she'd dig deeper, literally. Community garden plots had always been battlegrounds, but Martha saw untapped potential. Instead of scowling over fence lines, she hauled a folding table to shared path, piled it with seed packets, and scrawled "Take some, leave some" on a pizza box. Her odd habit? Whispering encouragement to sprouts like they were grandkids. Within weeks, her swap initiative became a hub, retirees trading heirloom beans, teens marveling purple carrots, even petunia perfectionist hesitantly dropping off extra marigolds. Sunflowers, once scraggly, now stood tall as neighborhood truce flags. Martha guided hesitant hands, showing how deep to bury hope. Vibes shifted. Soil-stained fingers swapped stories instead of side eyes. By harvest season, that narrow strip of dirt had grown more than zucchini, it nurtured belonging. Martha's secret? She never aimed to fix people. Just gave them space to grow. Your turn. Grab a seed, plant connection.